afternoon, good evening. Welcome to appointments and ordinances. Hi, welcome. Welcome to appointments and ordinances. This meeting is now being recorded. And if anyone else is recording, please let me know at this time. Thank you. We'll do a roll call of members. Councillor Ricketts. Present. Mr. Gordon. Present. Councillor Minhas.
Present.
Councillor Masters-Charo.
Yep.
Mr. Rowland, I am present. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, thank you everyone for being in person so that we can.
Any more out there?
Did not need to do a roll call vote for this one. All those in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
The fan be turned down for the start.
Hard to hear, yeah.
It's speaking of.
Is there a way to open the windows?
It's very warm in here.
It's very warm. Well, just everybody here talk louder and we can leave that on, and everybody gets what they
We'll
want.
try it on low and let me know if it's still hard to hear. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
to get that out?
so we are now going to move to public comment. If folks on Zoom would like to give public comment, please put your names in the chat. And we will come to your name after those who are in person have spoken. And everyone will have 3 minutes to, maximum of 3 minutes to speak.
Somebody put a Zoom on, find it in chat, or do I have that?
That's you. Okay.
So they are on Zoom.
Right,
And so if you should see it
chat.
there, chat, it should be entered there. You're welcome. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, if you do wish to give public comment, please put your name here. And the first person, so actually someone will have to sit here first. So if you would write your name here, and I'm going to call up Evelyn.
Oops.
Got it? Hi, welcome. Feel free to take a seat here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Okay. And please state your name and where you live.
My name is Evelyn Ashankatai, and I live at 20 Prentice Avenue in Greenfield, Massachusetts. Okay.
Yeah.
So I moved into Greenfield back in June of 2023 when I bought my first ever property, my home, at the age of 26. As a Greenfield resident, I'm reaching out because of the proposed elderly and disabled tax fund. When reading about the suggested program, I began thinking about the people that I know who are living on limited incomes and could really benefit from such a program. I also think about all the businesses in our community that are doing quite well, and I hope would be able to generously donate to such a fund that helps improve the overall health of our community. We have such a large national businesses that have profited from locating themselves in our city. This is an opportunity for them to give in a direct way to the people of our city who struggle each and every time they have to pay their property taxes. It would be wonderful to see our local businesses, our merchants, our banks, utility companies, healthcare companies, human service agencies, religious groups, and fraternal organizations, all helping to support this community effort. This is a group effort that says so much about who we are as neighbors and what we value. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next is Jo Marie Jackson.
Good evening, Appointments and Ordinances Committee. My name is Joan Marie Jackson, Highland Avenue, Greenfield. And I'm here to speak on the Elderly and Disabled Taxation Fund, establishing that for Greenfield. And what I'd like is to ask the chairperson, Councillor Gullib, if you would please read aloud the letters or emails from constituents for support on this issue.
I don't know that I've never been, would you like me to? I don't know. I'm going to pause and think about that afterwards.
Okay, because many constituents are watching and paying attention to this meeting. The news about it.
Hold on, Joan, I'm.
No,
for 3 minutes.
I'm going to give her 3 minutes and
You
I'll
can.
respond.
Yeah.
We wish you will read aloud those emails and letters of support. Thank you.
Next is Susan White.
Hello, my name is Susan White. I live at 225 Plain Road in Greenfield. First, I just want to thank you all for your service and the important roles that you have in our city. I'm grateful to be here tonight, and I just wanted to raise my voice as another voice to support what's been proposed by Councilor Minas, this very important elderly and disabled voluntary taxation fund for Greenfield. We're not the first to take this step, and our hope is that we will take it because it appears to be an obvious next step. As a citizen of Greenfield, I'm deeply committed, both professionally and personally, to help those who are more vulnerable and less fortunate. And we all have neighbors in that situation, and many of us ourselves experiencing that as the economics get more difficult in our environment. Just because we hear about low unemployment rates doesn't mean things have gotten easier. They've gotten harder and they'll continue to get harder. And we know, as AARP has said recently, that every single day, over 12,000 people are turning 65 nationally every single day. This is up from 10,000 people a day a year ago. So the numbers are escalating. Franklin County is not exempt from this demographic surge, and neither are we here in Greenfield. So I'd like to say that I believe this is a very important and what appears to be an obvious next step to show there's a deep commitment in Greenfield to help our neighbors and our older adults who need us. I also wanted to speak because I do work at LifePath in a capacity that's brought me to the front lines repeatedly. And for people who don't know that, we serve over 9,000 older adults and disabled of all ages here in Franklin County and the North Quabbin area and beyond. We are extremely familiar with the needs that are presented and what we're seeing and the increasing complexity of difficulties that people face in money management. We have a money management program, and I work in volunteer resources and some other capacities at LifePath, and am fortunate to see that, but also breaks our heart every single day that we can't meet the needs that we already see. So this will grow. We need to be in it together, and I'm very focused on a solution. So I want to thank you in advance for voting in favor of this this proposal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Next. I'm the person who lives at 117 Beacon Street. Judith Maloney.
Judith Maloney.
Hi, Judith.
So I'm Judith Maloney, 117 Beacon Street. I'm a senior, and I realize that every 4 months, is it every 3 months or 4 months? We pay out our taxes, and I support the idea that it would reach other seniors, given through the program that a lot of cities have here in Massachusetts. So I think we can do that too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Joan Pyfrom.
My name is Joan Pyfrom. I live at 95 Maple Street in Greenfield. I am in favor of the Elderly and Disabled Taxation Fund because I retired 2 years ago and I'm on a fixed income. This November, I had to apply for fuel assistance, not because fuel assistance because I have natural gas, but my electric bill was so incredibly high. I cut way back on that so that I could actually pay that bill. And I did qualify to get fuel assistance. it's not electric, but it's still very high. And for any kind of a furnace to come on, it takes electricity. So being on a fixed income and I'm still paying mortgage, my mortgage payments went up to cover the cost in escrow of the taxes. So I am definitely in favor of this taxation fund for us elderly. I like to say over 50 instead of elderly, but anyway, we need help. Price of food is going way up. It's crazy. What used to cut cereal, peanut butter, tuna fish used to be the cheapest things when I was a kid. I saw $7 for a box of cereal on the store shelves today. It's getting ridiculous. Please help us out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have person who lives at 38 Grinnell Street. State your name and,
State my name.
yeah, when you say.
Steve Feiner, 38 Grinnell Street. I don't have a lot of ample statistics and generalizations to make about the state of affairs that people find themselves embarrassingly troubled in. But what I do come to this meeting with is some sense that living in Greenfield for all these decades, I think has afforded me pretty nice quality of life. We have lots of things we can complain about, but overall, when you talk around people you know who don't live here and you hear from them how envious they are of the privilege of being able to live here, you realize, for better or for worse, this is pretty much a gifted place that we have. Living here as I have, I think it's afforded me my own opportunity to succeed in what I've chosen to do in life without really having to worry about a whole lot. This town, the city hasn't really changed a whole lot in the past 40 and 50 years. And the stability, I think, is a huge asset here. I've reached a point in my life now where it strikes me that if I have the opportunity to give back to this city for the benefit of people who live here, I want to do that. And I have to imagine, as I wrote earlier today, that I can't be alone in feeling this way. So I urge you to give your entire unanimous support to this proposal because I think it would be easy to do and beneficial to everybody, or not to everybody, but those who are in need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheldon Ball.
Good evening.
Hello.
I'm Shell Ball, officially F. Sheldon Ball. I live at 36 Congress Street, Greenfield. Anything else I need to say?
That's good.
Okay.
Mhm.
I was born in Greenfield when the Franklin County Public Hospital was the place where the Bay State is now. And I grew up in Deerfield and lived around here, went away and came back because like the sign used to say, great town, Greenfield. And it really is. So I'm here to support the voluntary tax fund because some of us are doing well and some of us not doing well. And when we're doing well, we want to help our neighbors. It's a beautiful thing and it's a great town, Greenfield. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Jim Geiser?
For Gary Newhouse, because he's more important than I am, actually.
You're welcome. Everyone's welcome to speak if you'd like to speak.
I'll speak, but give Gary
Him
a chance to
first.
sign.
Okay, sure.
That's unmuted.
Gary, did you put your name and your address in the chat?
Oh, I put my name in the chat. I can put my address in the chat in a moment.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I just want to fully disclose, I do not live in Greenfield. I live in Brattleboro, Vermont. I'll put my address there.
We have to let Greenfield residents speak first.
Okay,
And then non-residents speak.
okay.
Would you like to come speak?
Playing ping pong.
Sorry, Gary. I guess I had the right to do that because I'm on the treasure of life path.
So I have a vested interest in hearing what the boss man says.
You will get a trick, I
He knows
promise.
that you gave him a chance to.
Okay.
Yeah. First of all, I think this is a good idea. But like all good ideas, you got to implement them carefully so you avoid unintended consequences. It seems to me that one of the issues is this is going to be a fund and you need to set the expectations of the people who are going to be recipients and the people who are going to be donors. And if you really want to make a difference in what? I mean, is it going to be property taxes only? Is it going to be living expenses? What is it going to be? You can work that out. I'm not worried about that, but I just pointed out. I think also if you want the program to be successful, you need to build awareness and build participation. And I don't know what the participation rates are where you check off at the end of your tax form, $1 for crooks to get elected again, that sort of thing. So I don't know what those participation rates are, but I think that would be important to know. I think how you service these needs is very important. As I mentioned, there are a ton of needs, and what needs are we servicing with this particular fund? There are issues of who qualifies, under what circumstances, and as I say, there are unintended consequences, and I think one of the ways you avoid a lot of them is by being as transparent as you can be. However, this is not just a financial thing. This is political, it's personal, and having said that, I think it's a great idea, but let's do it right if we're going to do it at all. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well,
Ready?
now,
You're ready.
two.
Yeah.
But-
You're ready. Yeah, but.
Yeah, I know. I'm on top of it. My first question, is there anyone else in person who would like to? Please write your name, and then I'll go to people who are on Zoom.
Ready?
I am ready.
Good evening, folks. Al Norman of Grinnell Street. I wanted to just make a couple of comments based a little bit on what Jim just said. At your last meeting, there was some discussion about what about the rules and regulations for this program? So I wanted to read what the law says because I think I could have made this comment, but of course, we were not allowed to speak once we've had community input is over. But the law explains at the end that a board is to be set up for this program. That would include the chairman of the Board of Assessors, the city or town treasurer, and 3 residents of the city appointed by the mayor. And that board shall adopt rules and regulations to carry out the provisions of this section. So that's how the legislature would approve this program, is that you don't do it, I don't do it. The board that is created by this chapter 63D would come up with the rules and regulations, and then we would all go, I hope we would all go and testify and say this, what about this, what about that? But this is a program that successfully is doing its job. And I've been a taxpayer in Greenfield for 44 years now, and pleased to be a taxpayer for 44 years. And this is one of the programs that I think has a great future for this town. And I wanted to tell you that when I wrote about this back in April 17th, I had one of my columns about this program. Since this column came out, I've had 3 inquiries from other towns saying, can we do it? And I said, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping that if Greenfield takes the lead on this, that you're going to see other communities step forward and do this too, because it's a perfect neighbor to neighbor program. It's a way that we can all contribute to the welfare of the entire community and be known as a community that cares about its people. So it's very simple for me. And that's why I'm pleased to be here tonight. Again, I'll come as many times as I can to support a program like this because it satisfies me that it's very much needed and the people that need it deserve our support. So I hope you'll get this motion passed tonight and we'll help you any way we can to make it work. Thanks.
Thank you. Help in person. Okay, we will move now to.
I'm sorry, am I up?
Oh, just one moment.
Okay.
I'm waiting till she could hear me. So we have just done public comment in person and now we will do public comment from, first from Greenfielders who are online. If there's any Greenfielders online who would like to give public comment, please. And is your name in chat? Anyone's name in chat? There's not already.
Just Gary.
Okay, so Gary, we'll go to you. And I will rearrange this. Hold on one moment.
Sure.
Alice is here, but her name is not in the chat. All right. Gary, go for it.
Thank you.
Thank you for waiting. Appreciate it.
No worries at all. And I will be brief. I just want to fully disclose, I live in Brattleboro, but I work in Greenfield. I consider Greenfield my second home. I hope that Greenfield considers me an honorary resident. I am reaching out on behalf of LifePath, and I have been the executive director there for about 1 year now. And two of my colleagues have already spoken. At LifePath, we see firsthand the struggle that many of our Greenfield residents and beyond are facing daily. And I can see no downside to this initiative. And I believe that has the potential to have a profound impact if funded appropriately on some of the most vulnerable residents of the community. In the absence of this and other programming, we risk the potential of losing folks from the community due to lack of ability to pay for their taxes when coupled with all the other expenses that they have in living in the community. So there's nothing I've heard this evening that I disagree with. I really appreciate people's impassioned pleas around this particular initiative. I agree with Jim on all of his points. I think a careful rollout would be necessary, but I think it definitely has the ability to pay dividends and support people in ways that they need support. I am in favor of the initiative on behalf of LifePath's consumers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other names in the chat? No? Michael?
Yes.
Are there any other names in chat?
No.
Okay. All right. I will address the question about whether I will I will read, actually, I'm going to say this now. I am not going to read the emails, but I don't have and I don't actually, I would need to look more into the rules about, I've never been asked to do that as a clerk. I'm wondering if you want to read them, yeah. So
I will just say I have read all of them.
We don't, do we have to? Do we want?
No.
They could be read into the record.
There is.
I mean, they're in the record already.
Have all of
It's
us read
public
them?
record already.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
So people can look, they could ask for them at
Yeah.
the town clerk's office.
Yep.
Okay, that works for me.
Perfect.
We have
I
no-
appreciate all the letters that we have
Yes.
received.
And we haven't taken time to read them.
Yeah.
On this subject,
Okay,
On this.
because the public doesn't know that we have almost 2,000 on a different subject, so.
very good.
Yes.
Okay. I am with you. Okay, so public hearings, none. Next motion is the mayor's appointments and reappointments. Someone like to read that motion, please?
I was looking for the page.
It is on page 9.
Are there page numbers on the printed agenda?
Yeah, and if I can let you know what they are, so
That
it's
would be-
page 9, yes.
All right, I can read it. Order number FY 24-129. The city council moved that it be ordered that the Greenfield City Council pursuant to Charter Section 2-10 affirms the following appointments and reappointments by the mayor as follows. Commission on Disability Access, and I apologize in advance if I mispronounce anybody's name, Ron LaRoche Jr., in parentheses, alternate, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Community Preservation Committee, Ann Becky George, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Council on Aging, Karen Shepherd, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Crossroads Cultural District Committee, Trouble Mandison, term to expire once project is complete. Board of Health, Dorothy Melnikoff, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Greenfield Housing Authority, Susan Wargaftick, Governor's appointee, term to expire December 31st, 2028.
2029.
Oh,
That's what's misprint.
so is it?
Yeah, there was a
Okay.
misprint. This has been changed to 2029.
It would have to be since it also says here 5-year term per MGL. Yeah. Mayor's Task Force Against Domestic Violence, Councilor William Wid Perry, Council President appointee, term to expire December 31st, 2025. Board of Registrars of Voters, Eva Carrier, term to expire April 30th, 2026. David Lewandowski, term to expire April 30th, 2027. Trustees of Soldiers Memorial, Gary Longley, term to expire December 31st, 2027. Majority vote required.
Second. Any discussion?
No.
These are all great.
I-
Appreciation to those who volunteered, as always.
Yes.
Always.
Great list, as always.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Unanimous. Now, let you know what page we're on next. So the next item that is listed on the agenda is the Capital Improvement Planning Committee. We will meet. I will say this now, I've asked the clerk to email everyone. I don't believe it's happened yet. We're not meeting in June, so I've asked for this to be on the A&O July meeting.
Okay.
Perfect. Yep. So then the next is the Elder and Disabled Tax Fund, and I am going to find where that is in the agenda. Okay. I believe this begins on page 30. And I confirmed this with committee chairs last night that if this is under discussion, and just like anything else under discussion, if we discuss something, but then are ready to vote on it, we can make a motion to vote on it. This won't be discussed this month at the full council agenda, because we'll be discussing the budget, and those meetings often go 2 nights, so we will not, if we vote on this today, it will not be discussed at the May full council meeting. It'll be discussed at the June full council meeting. So, Councilor Minhas, would you like to
Yes.
take it away?
So first of all, I would just like to thank everyone who's worked on this, community members who've shown up regardless of political affiliation
Can you
and
pause
past.
1 moment? Is it the, you know how to look them in, just so they can. Sorry to interrupt. I
worries.
just saw.
Yeah, I
you
just saw
going
it.
with that.
Oh,
Okay,
we're good.
great. Thank you.
They're in.
Yeah.
They get to hear the first 5 seconds of my glorious speech. So again, I'd just like to thank everyone who's supported and worked on this. Included people who might not have even politically participated like this before, or just ordinary people struggling through a economic crisis. And also, I'd like to thank counselors who've expressed support for this, formally, informally, on phone calls, sitting in this room, as well as the mayor, who's done a good job in supporting this and realizing that this is a winning issue, and we need to take action. Like people are saying today in public comment, we are going through a economic crisis. The cost of housing, healthcare, medicines, transportation, fuel is just skyrocketing. And there's not many opportunities that we have on the local level to address the cost of things and to monetarily better the lives of people in a simple and easy way. We look towards like state and federal funding and programs, And we are fortunate enough to already have a state program, and that is the Elderly and Disabled Taxation Fund, which is part of MGL. And so I'm glad that this is brought forward and I had the honor of bringing this forward. So thank you to everyone who's worked on this. Just as a refresher for somebody who's listening to this now, or, you know, just for the record, what this basically is, and what I love most about it is that it's voluntary. You are not taxing people. This is a relief. This is a program for relief. This is not an additional, all right, now you got to pay up some more because person down the street needs some help. This is, hey, if you want to, go right ahead. So this is for businesses, for individuals to help specifically with elderly and disabled folk pay off their property taxes so that their homes aren't taken away from them, so they aren't onto the street, so they aren't, you know, struggling in the last era of their life where they're no longer generating income like they used to. So I just like to, I think I've talked enough with people, with counselors, and I think, I mean, if we want, we can just go on and be like, hey, let's discuss the specifics. But in my research, there hasn't been a single Appointments and Ordinance Committee who has laid out the specific regulations on this. What MGL tells us is that our job as an Appointments and Ordinance Committee and as the council is to give the signal, the green light. Okay, let's adopt this. This starts the process. Now, I'd like to see everyone here who has a lot of questions, as well as in the public and also people in the room and counselors in general who want to be part of that process. So yes, please, I'd like to see you there when the committee is formed, and the committee is forming under the mayor's leadership. And I'm again thankful for the mayor for being part of this, to show up. So please show up and be like, okay, this is what we want the age limit to be. This is what we want the income level to be. This is, you know, all the things that the state gives us flexibility on, so that you can tailor this state program to your local needs, because we don't look like Cambridge. Neither do we look like Springfield or Holyoke, but we also are not Coleraine. So each of those states, each of those cities and towns is different. So that's why the state gives us flexibility, and I'm glad that we can adopt something like this. So I'd like to move forward and bring this to a vote to adopt this. And like Chair Golub has just said, that this will be brought up and discussed and hopefully voted on in the June council at large, not full council, not in the May one, because consulting with other councilors who had concerns about, let's focus on the budget for this month and let's not take up time. So I was willing to, let's push it forward, and, you know, we can vote on it through appointments and ordinances now, and we can get it through the full council the month after. So I'd like to make a motion to adopt this.
A second.
Would you like to read the motion?
Yes, I just gotta find
Point
it.
of order, there's no number on here. Like the format of this is different than other
Certainly.
motions. And like just procedurally, that concerns me a little bit.
Well,
Number of what?
recommendation, I think.
So normally, like, if we're gonna vote on something, I think that it has to be like an official motion with an order number.
Exactly. It's usually written up.
Right.
Yep. And I mean, like, what's the order before this? Because then it would just be order number FY 24
I'm not sure we can,
blank.
I don't
You know.
know that that's how
So
it works.
here's what I would like to do.
There's not enough here.
I'm not sure that it's not enough, because I understand the question and it may not be enough.
Right.
But we
We
don't.
don't just vote on it again
Exactly.
next month.
So we
yeah.
do not have the clerk with us right now to ask. I do know she said that if we were ready to vote on it, we could vote on it. So what I would like to do is read it. It may be that this is incomplete and that we would need to do this a second time, but I would not want to not do it. So I would say to read order number fiscal year 24 hyphen motion.
Yep.
And to read the motion as it is. And if it's wrong, we've learned something. And I think there's more risk in not doing it if we are indeed ready to vote on it. So if you feel ready to make the motion, I will do that.
So I'll read the motion. Order number FY 24 X.
Question mark.
Move that it be ordered that the Greenfield City Council pursuant to the provisions of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 60, Section 3D, votes to authorize the establishment of an elderly and disabled taxation fund for the purposes of defraying the real estate taxes of elderly and disabled persons of low income.
I heard you say second. You want to do that again?
Second.
Discussion on this motion.
I'm certainly convinced. I think that this is a great idea. I'm really grateful to Councilor Minhas for bringing it forward and for doing a lot of background work and legwork and coordinating to get everybody here and get the information that we asked you for last month. Really grateful to members of the public, everybody. I don't know if we've ever had a crowd, certainly not in my time on appointments and ordinances. This many people here for public comments. I really appreciate that. And as several people have said, I think it's a no-brainer. Basically, it's a way that neighbors can help neighbors. And we know that there are folks in the community who are struggling and could use the help. So I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is vote on it, because I think we're all convinced that we're gonna push this forward and to the council and away we go.
I do want to speak on it. So I don't know the percentage, but I do know my impression of knocking on doors in precinct 1 is that the vast majority of people who live in precinct 1 are, I'm younger than most of my constituents, and that there are many people who are elderly who, when I didn't go and canvass on a specific issue, I went and said, what matters to you? And the two issues that people shared were school. I counted schools and property taxes. They were about head and head. I was grateful that so many older folks really cared about the schools as well. That's a side note. Taxes are hurting people. Taxes are hurting people. And the risk of losing people, I'm not sure who named that, but I have had several constituents say, I don't know if I can continue to live here because of the property taxes. And so I really appreciate that this is a way to still be paying for our services, to still have the tax money coming in, but to support the elderly folks who are struggling. And in terms of the questions that were raised, I think these are really important questions about the rollout, like awareness and participation. I really appreciated hearing that question. And so I hear that, like, let's do this well. If we're going to do this, let's do this well. And I appreciate carrying that question forward. I think that the loss really is very clear about the expectations, and that we get to decide, as Councilor Minhas stated, we get to decide who qualifies, and that will be determined by the board. And I want to second that. I hope that folks show up and are part of that discernment process and really establishing this in a way that supports taxpayers. So those are great questions. And I feel as though they're sufficiently addressed. And I'm really excited to have the opportunity to vote on something that I feel like my constituents are asking for.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other discussion? No. So I would actually like to do a roll call vote on this. I feel like things that are not obvious yeses or nos, I think that a roll call is important. So I'm going to do that. So if you could write that down. So Councilor Ricketts?
Yes.
Councilor Gordon?
Yes.
Councilor Minhas?
Yes.
Councilor Master-Jataro?
Yes.
Councilor Golub, and yes. It's just a recommendation.
Right. This is only this, it's full council.
That is
I
accurate.
usually don't vote it.
And you always have the right to abstain.
Right.
Yeah, I support that. And this.
I just like gonna just make it go
Sure.
since it got pushed to us.
That's fair. So just so in case that isn't clear for folks, what we do at appointments and ordinances is we give a recommendation to the full council. And the full council is where a decision is made about whether this becomes law. And so this will, I'll reiterate, this will not be on the May full council agenda. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, this will be on the June full council agenda. Moving on to the next item, I have officially withdrawn the public participation motion. So hopefully that will, I've been trying to do that for the last month. Hopefully that will be not on the agenda again. And ready for the next meeting. So again, we will not meet in June, appointments and ordinances. We will.
July 11th.
The reason is that I will be on a work trip and
We already got that email that.
you did receive it. Okay.
She's going on her yacht.
What's that?
You didn't get the invite, Michael?
I'll
do a motion to adjourn unless we.
Our next meeting will be on July 10th, 2024, 6:30 PM, City Hall Meeting Room, second floor, Zoom hybrid, unless otherwise posted. I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Go for it. All those in favor? Aye. All right.
And if you chit chat, just not on my.
Have a good night, everyone.